Hey guys, welcome back to the Kind of Beauty cruelty-free and vegan beauty reviews. I'm really excited because today I'm going to be filming my very first video in a series I'm calling Cruelty-Free A to Z. What is Cruelty-Free A to Z? So I've decided to take Logical Harmony and Cruelty-Free Kitty's cruelty-free brand lists and combine them. And I'm going to be reviewing at least one item from every brand, hopefully more than one. It depends how expensive it is and who knows. The reason I'm doing this is because when I was first starting out on my cruelty-free journey, I really loved that I had resources like Logical Harmony and Cruelty-Free Kitty and Ethical Elephant and My Beauty Bunny. I really enjoyed having those resources to help me out on my cruelty-free journey, but I was so overwhelmed. I didn't know who to buy from. I didn't know, because some of the brands are really obvious what they do. Like some of them have hair care, naturals, cosmetics in their brand name. Like one of them that's really obvious is Geek Chic Cosmetics. I love them so much. This is not a video about them, but I just use them as an example because cosmetics is in their name. So you know that they're doing makeup and likely it has something to do with geeky stuff. And it does. They do, they name their eyeshadows and their makeup after like video games and movies and things that are a part of the geek culture. So that name is really self-explanatory and it really helps cover what their mission is and what kind of style they want to convey for their cosmetics. There are other brands that you just have no idea what they're going to be about. And so it can get really overwhelming seeing all of these brands down this list and being like, I don't know where to start. So I want a place like Logical Harmony and Cruelty-Free Kitty to be your first stop on your cruelty-free journey, but then think to yourself like, oh, well, you know, I don't know if this brand would be a good brand for me to try out. Let me go see if Melody at The Kind of Beauty has reviewed it yet. I want to be your second stop for these things. And this is how I'm going to facilitate that. I'm going to be the resource that I wish I had when I was younger and starting out doing cruelty-free stuff. So since we're going in alphabetical order, we're going to start with numbers first, brand names that start with numbers. And the first one I have is 100% Pure. So it's funny because I actually did film a previous video where I put on the two foundations that I got, and then I went back through the video and it was like out of focus the entire time. I'm still learning how to do this. This is still something that's, you know, that I'm getting used to and something that I'm learning as I go. So yeah, I wasn't able to use that video. I was pretty upset about it, but I've gotten over it since then. So I actually already filmed testing out two foundations, and I bought a full size of the one that I tried because I put on a sample size. I loved it so much that I bought a full size, and I'm going to put the full size on for you today. It's obviously the same formula. This is their Fruit Pigmented Tinted Moisturizer. I got the shade Creme, and on my website I have a full review of everything that I bought because I'm not going to sit on video and hold up a bar of soap for you. So I got soap, lotion, face serums. I got a whole bunch of stuff that I was able to get because they sell sample sizes for a reduced cost. So I was able to get a lot of stuff from them to get a good idea of what 100% Pure has to offer. So I'm going to be reviewing the Fruit Pigmented Tinted Moisturizer, and I'm also going to be reviewing the Second Skin Foundation. Without further ado, let's put on foundation. All right, so I've zoomed you guys in. I'm going to be using a wet makeup sponge to be applying. You can apply it with your fingers, but I prefer to use my Real Techniques Beauty Blender makeup sponge. So let's go ahead and put it on the back of the hand. The packaging is so cute. I love it. You get a nice tall bottle of this tinted moisturizer. Did I say I'm doing the tinted moisturizer first? Okay, back up. I'm going to do the tinted moisturizer first in the shade Creme. This is light to medium coverage. Honestly, I don't even usually bother buying tinted moisturizers because they almost never give any coverage, but this one gives such beautiful coverage. So putting it on the back of the hand, I don't know if you guys can see, I have very reliably neutral skin. There you go, focus. I have very reliably neutral skin. This said that it was a neutral shade on the website. It is quite warm, and I think most of the shades that I've tried have leaned very warm. But the good thing is that when you work it into the skin, see, like you can see it's very like, but when you work it into the skin, especially with a beauty blender, it starts to become a little bit truer neutral. So don't be afraid if you see it kind of come out warm on your skin. It's not oxidizing. My Urban Decay foundation does the same exact thing. So, you know, it just comes out pretty warm, but then once you actually like work it into your face and you put powder on, it's very neutral. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and face the camera here. I'm in focus, good. Okay, so I'm gonna pat this in with a wet beauty blender. And I would definitely say this is definitely, you know, a tinted moisturizer. There's no question about that. You're not gonna get, like, I can still see my freckles. I can still see some marks that I have, some moles that I have, but there are some days when I want my freckles to show. Like I'm a person who enjoys my flaws, and I know that not everyone is on board with that, but for me personally, you know, I don't mind showing certain parts of my skin, quote unquote, flaws. But the thing that I love about this is that even though you can still see my freckles and everything, it evens out your skin tone so beautifully. Like you can see the difference between my forehead and my cheek here. Like my forehead gets pretty red and my cheeks can get pretty red too. And it just gives it a nice, even, uniform tone, which is what I was looking for in, you know, a light foundation. And some of the foundations that do that are just so heavy. And they don't really allow me that breathability that I want in like a tinted moisturizer or like a serum foundation product. I really gotta start putting my hair back for foundation videos. I don't know why I never learn. All right, so dabbing it on the forehead. Yeah, it is so nice, especially if you have like reddish skin. Like maybe, I can't speak for anyone with rosacea. Like I don't know. I don't have that. I've never had rosacea, so I don't know. But for people who just have like some pigmentation that they're dealing with on their skin, some hyperpigmentation, it evens it out so nicely. And again, it's not full coverage. It is not gonna give you like a uniform canvas, but it's just gonna give you a nice, glowy, dewy, your skin but better look. Now my nose is the reddest part of my face. So for my nose, I have to put on a bit more than the other parts of my face, but it's nice because it's buildable and it definitely feels like a moisturizer. Like it's a very like thin, it's a very thin consistency. So usually I'll do one layer, kind of let it set in on my nose specifically, kind of let it set in. And then I'll do another layer after I do my neck, because my neck is always a different color than my face. So, you know, when I put this on, especially compared to my neck, it's like, whoa, my face and my neck aren't even related. They're not even of the same person. I'm definitely gonna have to add like custom color drops to this in the winter when I get much fairer. They don't have a shade in the tinted moisturizer formula that's gonna work for people with really fair skin. Because yeah, these are like, this is for a person with like light skin at most, like maybe even light medium. And I mean, the good thing about tinted moisturizers is that it does show a little bit of your skin under it. So it's not too bad if you get a shade that's a little bit darker. It's not like if you get one shade dark in a full coverage foundation, yeah, you're gonna see it and you're gonna be like, oh boy, that's not right. But for this, it's a little bit more forgiving. You can be a little bit more lax with your shade choice with your tinted moisturizers, but it's still, you can tell it's a little bit darker than it's supposed to be on me, and there's not anything else I can do about it, because the next shade up, it's not necessarily lighter, it just has a different undertone. It has a cool undertone, so that's not gonna work for me either. Okay, so I've done my neck. Now I'm going to do another layer on my nose. All right, awesome. I love this tinted moisturizer so much. It's so perfect for just like an everyday, no makeup look. Like you want to even out your skin, but you don't want to look like you're wearing makeup. This is the perfect foundation for that. And it doesn't settle. I have some smile lines. I know I'm going to be 25 in 4 days, but I do have some smile lines, especially right here. And you know, my foundations do tend to, even when I'm wearing primer, to settle into those. And this doesn't settle into any fine lines. It's so gorgeous. So it is a very dewy finish. If you like that dewy finish, you can definitely keep it. But what I like to do is set it with a little bit of powder so that it just looks like a nice natural finish. Okay, so for my powder, I'm going to be using my ColourPop No Filter Sheer Setting Powder in Fair. And this is good because since it is fair and my skin is more, why won't you open? Oh my gosh. Since my skin is more on the, you know, on the light side right now, usually I'm fair, but you know, since I've got a lot of color this summer, a lot of color, now I'm more in the light range. This is for fair skin, so it's nice because it kind of lightens up this tinted moisturizer a bit so that if it does look a little bit dark after putting this powder on, it looks like the correct tone for me. So I'm going to be taking my Spectrum A00 brush. I love Spectrum collections. This is from their Merbabe line. This is my favorite powder brush ever. I like rub it on my face just like for no reason. I don't know. I know I'm being weird, but you know, I'm just being honest. I think we all have fluffy brushes that we love to just like rub on our skin. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one, and I would be perfectly okay with that if I were the only one. So I like to tap this powder on. Typically, I'll do like a circular motion to blend everything in with my full coverage foundations. But since this is a tinted moisturizer and it's such light coverage, I don't want to smear it around. I don't want to like, I don't want to have uneven coverage. So I feel like patting it is just like a safe way to keep everything in place, keep everything where I put it, and not streak anything. Okay, yeah, so it lightened it up really nicely, and now it looks much truer to my skin tone. This is honestly like my favorite finish, my favorite like look of any foundation that I have. I love my full coverage foundations, but sometimes it's just like, it's just too much. And especially if I'm going somewhere where I can't really wear makeup, either I'm going out to eat a specific kind of food where like my lipstick might smear off, or if I'm giving a flute lesson because I play flute and I don't want to wear lipstick because I'm, you know, playing my flute and I don't want it to smear off. Wearing full coverage foundation makes you look like you're like sick. If you're not wearing makeup, at least it does for me. It just doesn't look right. You look incomplete. But wearing this, you can walk out the door with no lipstick on, even no mascara on if you want to, and just look great. And there are just certain situations that call for that, especially in my life personally. So I love this. I keep calling it foundation, but this tinted moisturizer. It kind of is like a foundation. It's like a light coverage foundation. I wish they had more shades, and I wish they didn't pull so warm. But for people who have a warm skin tone or a neutral skin tone, you might really, really love this. And if you have light skin, or if you have those white custom color drops that you'll be able to put in here, then you won't have a problem at all. Really, it's just like the coverage, the formula, the fact that it doesn't settle into your fine lines. I wore it all day yesterday. Like, this is a light coverage foundation. I wore it all day yesterday to the farm. I was hauling things. I was, you know, scooping out goose ponds. I was doing work. I was sweating, and this didn't budge. It looked gorgeous still by like the end of the night. I didn't take it off till like 10 p.m. and I put it on at like 8 a.m. Don't be fooled by the name tinted moisturizer. This is high performance. It lasts a really long time. It doesn't settle. It doesn't cake. It doesn't separate. It's awesome. I absolutely recommend it 100%. If you can find a shade that works for you, buy this. Make it happen. Okay, so I've taken off the tinted moisturizer. I'm all moisturized, primed up, ready to go. So now I'm going to be trying 100% Pure's Second Skin Foundation. So I haven't actually tried this one yet. I know I said earlier in the video that I put on both foundations in the other video, but I didn't. I remember that I only had time to do one of them, and then when I looked back at the video on my computer, I was like, oh, it's blurry. So I actually haven't had a chance to try these on yet. This is going to be an all-day wear test for me. So this is the sample pack. You can get this for $5 on 100% Pure's website, and you get 4 samples, which is really great. Foundation can be so finicky, and especially for a store where, at least in my area, or a brand where you can only get it online, it's really nice to be able to have samples to buy, so that, because you just don't know if you like it yet. Now this one's a little bit different, the Second Skin Foundation. So it's medium coverage, and unlike the tinted moisturizer, this is a natural finish. You can get the full size for $46, $50, and the tinted moisturizer, you can get the full size for $47. I don't know why there's a difference there, but it is. And they sent me a card too with a description of it, so I'll read that for you. Serum foundation that feels and acts like second skin in a base of olive squalane and anti-aging superstar, blended with pure fruit pigments which contain anti-aging, antioxidants, and vitamins to create the most healthy, luxurious formula that leaves your skin glowing with a natural, flawless complexion. This has really good for you ingredients in it. It's going to be working for your skin while you're wearing it. So the directions say, squalane acts as a primer, so no additional primer is needed. Well, I already put on primer. I forgot that part. I read this card a couple weeks ago. Oops. Shake well before use. All right, so I'm going to be using my wet sponge again. There are 4 shades here. So there's shade 2, which is a neutral shade, shade 3, which is a cool tone shade, shade 4, which is another neutral warm shade, and then shade 5, which is just like straight up pink. So I'm not going to be using that one. I'm torn between using shade 2 and shade 4, but since the tinted moisturizer was a little bit on the dark side, I think I'm going to go with the lighter one, just to see how that works out. Okay, so let's open it up. I hope this doesn't go everywhere. Ah! It did. It totally went everywhere. Oops. Okay, well, now I dropped it. This is going great. Okay, so I'm going to squirt a little bit out onto my hand. Wow, okay, yeah, that is definitely a serum foundation. It is like running everywhere. Oh my gosh. It is way darker and more orangey on my skin. Okay, all right, well, wow, that's super orange. That is so warm. I would not have guessed that from the packaging. Okay. Well, before it drips off onto my carpet, let's give it a try. All right, let's give it a try. Okay. Kind of looking at the camera right now. This is definitely serum. Very runny kind of. I mean, it's nice. It does feel a little bit greasy, but we'll have to see how it performs like when it's actually on. Wow, that is super warm, and it's kind of dark too. It doesn't look at all like how the package looked. All right, let's see. Okay, so similar to the tinted moisturizer, once you start to work with it, it gets a little bit more of a truer neutral to it. Okay. Yeah, okay. It's much more neutral after using the blender and working it in than it is on my hand. Yeah, I don't like the way it feels really. Like when you first put it on, it feels very greasy. But now that it's setting in on this side, it definitely, it feels light. It does feel like a second skin. It doesn't feel like I have anything on at all. Just when you first put it on, it's a little like, ugh. And it's covering up my my dark circles under my eyes really nicely too. It's kind of a 2-for-1. This is definitely, it says medium coverage. I would consider this light coverage. You can see there. You can probably build it, but it is a serum foundation, so some serum foundations do better than others. We'll have to see if this can like set in a little bit, and maybe I can go over it a little bit more. It's everywhere. It's like sliding off of my hand. I'm pretty sure I got it on my dress too. All right. Okay, so I can tell that on my cheeks, it looks really nice. It's very similar to the tinted moisturizer as far as coverage and texture. My forehead looks beautiful, my cheeks look beautiful, but on my nose, it's separating. And my nose sometimes is dry, sometimes it's oily. It really just depends on the day. But yeah, with the second skin foundation, it's separating and it looks very uneven on my nose. But everywhere else it looks beautiful. It's definitely much more of a true neutral than the tinted moisturizer was, even though this is like the orangest foundation I've ever seen on the back of my hand. Once you actually work it in, it becomes a very true neutral. And this is definitely a natural finish, which is like somewhere between dewy and matte. It's not so matte that it's like there's no shine at all, but it's not dewy to where it's like, it's not so dewy to where it's like, oh, glowing, wet face. It's somewhere in a happy medium there. Yeah, my forehead looks beautiful. This definitely matches my skin tone really nicely. It's just that separation on my nose, that's gonna really bug me. So I'm going to be using my ColourPop setting powder again with the same brush. And I'm going to use the same technique since this is a very light coverage foundation. It says medium, but I don't know. It's very similar to the tinted moisturizer. I don't know that it's particularly different other than that the shade matches much better than the tinted moisturizer one did for me. So that's a plus. The formula was really runny. It was really hard to work with. You know, and I know it is a serum foundation, but I've used serum foundations before, and that one like came out of that package like a bat out of hell. A slippery bat out of hell. It wanted to ruin my day. That's a little dramatic. It didn't ruin my day. Yeah, it looks super patchy on my nose. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work for my nose. So I guess I could put this on my face and then put the tinted moisturizer on my nose and I'll have a perfect combination. So it set down really nicely with the powder. It does look a little bit more like powder puffy than the tinted moisturizer did after I put on the powder, but we'll see how it wears throughout the day. So I'm gonna put on a full face of makeup. I'm actually gonna shoot another video for some products that I'm getting this afternoon. I'm gonna wear it throughout the day. I'll probably wear it until about 8 p.m. or so because I have to work kind of early tomorrow. But yeah, so this will give me a full like 8 hours of testing to see how this fares with my other makeup, to see how it wears, to see if it wipes off or anything. So the next time you see me, it'll probably be about 8 p.m. Okay, I'm back. So got some odds and ends in the background here. Imagine that. I'm a real person who has a real apartment. Anyway, so I've been wearing this foundation, the 100% Pure Second Skin Foundation for, it's about 8:30, so it's been about 8.5 hours. It hasn't moved at all. So my forehead, my cheeks, my chin all look flawless and beautiful. It hasn't settled into fine lines. It looks amazing. It hasn't oxidized at all. My nose is still like, you know, it looks like a very different shade from the rest of my face. It really just didn't cover my nose very well. I don't know why it didn't work very well with it. So yeah, and the separation was there. It wasn't so horrendous that I felt embarrassed going out because I did go out to get some dinner. So, you know, it looked okay. It just wasn't, it didn't look as good as the rest of my face. It's not very different from the tinted moisturizer foundation. Um, so I don't know. I mean, I already got a full size of the tinted moisturizer, so I'm not going to go out and get a full size of the second skin foundation. The only difference, the coverage is very similar, the texture is very similar. I would say that the second skin foundation really does feel like a second skin. It's much lighter than the tinted moisturizer. But they have about the same coverage. They have a similar tone to them, a similar feel, although this one is definitely lighter. The only difference is that the tinted moisturizer is a dewy finish and the second skin foundation is a natural finish. I set them both, so it doesn't really, like I set them both with powder, so it doesn't really matter. But you know, if you love that dewy finish, then go for the tinted moisturizer. Oh, and I guess the other difference was that the second skin foundation definitely had a truer neutral tone to it once I worked it in with the beauty blender, but the tinted moisturizer definitely was, it pulled warm. So that was another difference, I suppose. And the consistency, the tinted moisturizer was definitely a little bit thicker than the second skin foundation. The second skin foundation was really runny, really runny. So if you get the second skin foundation, you're gonna love it once it's on, but working with it, just be careful. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it. I'm looking forward to doing more videos from my Cruelty-Free A to Z series. They're going to be in alphabetical order, so you can always see which one comes next. If you go to logicalharmony.net or crueltyfreekitty.com, you can look at their cruelty-free brands list and you can see which one comes next alphabetically. And if you want, you can send me a message, you can leave a comment on my blog, you can leave a comment down here saying, hey, for the next, for the next brand, I want you to review this item from them because I've been wanting to know how it performs. Let me know what you think. I would love to hear from you guys. Thank you guys for coming by. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. I'll see you next time. Bye.